So yes, good morning. It is that time of the week again. Apologies if you can't really hear me too well at the moment. I am suffering with a little bit of a cold, but the weather is looking really nice today. So I wanted to do a fitness fragrance review. And the one I wanted to do today is another Lush body spray. It's called Cherryish. I believe I reviewed this when I was downstairs boiling some eggs on one of my YouTube videos. And it was really just initial impressions. But I wanted to give this one a proper full run out today because it looks like it's still around a little bit at the minute. I think it's probably going to be a limited edition scent that comes out through most of the year, but it didn't say that on the bottle, so I think it's definitely worth reviewing this one if you can get your hands or your nose on this one. But if you haven't seen a fitness fragrance review before, essentially I do a morning workout, so I go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while reviewing a fragrance. It'll be this one today. We do it on 5 categories. We look at its price/value for money, its versatility, so how much you can use in different situations. We'll look at projection to see how much it fills up a room and also how much I notice it during my run. We'll also look at compliment factor. Do I think it's a compliment getting fragrance? And then longevity. So when I spray my arm before the gym, a few hours time will go by, have a shower, can I still detect the fragrance after? And we'll give those scores out of 10. So before we go in for our run though, we're going to look at the note breakdown. What is actually in Cherryish? What is in Lush Cherryish? Well, to be honest, as I mentioned many times on these videos, there's not a huge ingredient list here, and that means there's not a huge amount of notes that they give you, or I think that they've actually put in. I don't think they're hiding any notes here, but I'll read the little description on the front, I'll tell you what else is in it, and essentially what the fragrance ultimately smells like. So it says here, Cherryish, no need to ask twice. This fragrance delivers mouth-watering cherry, probably a little bit of giveaway in the name anyway, and deliciously warming almond. The cherry on top, cocoa absolute for an irresistibly playful fusion. So it mentions that there's this Divana oil in it. I think that adds a little bit more depth. Apparently, if you apply that on your skin with skin chemistry, it can vary between some people. Some people it makes it more fruity. Other people it makes it a little bit more floral, a little bit more dark, like a black cherry accord. For me though, the main thing you're really getting from this is cherry and chocolate. It's like, you know, like cherries and you dip them in like really nice dark melted chocolate. That's what this smells like to me. Really nice gourmand without being super sweet. So maybe that's that Divana playing a part. There's talk of apple being in this as well. Again, I don't particularly get that. A bit of white chocolate. But yeah, other than that, there's not really too much more. And the main thing you really need to be aware of here is all about that cherry and cocoa combination. And it really does smell just like it as well. Very realistic, very much a gourmand type scent that's more suited to the winter time, which we'll go into more detail later on. But essentially what we're going to do now, we're going to head out from a run. I'm still in my pyjama trousers at the minute, so I do need to get a bit of a move on. But we're going to do the first 2 categories. We'll look at the price/value for money for this one, and also its versatility. I'll see you out there. We are off, and what a lovely morning it is today. It's a little bit more chilly, but no wind and a clear blue sky. It's just a shame. I feel really ill. I feel very rough today. But stop moaning, Harry. It's time to talk about this fragrance, Lush Cherryish. The price/value for money for this one. So it looks like it's very much in line with the Lush body sprays in general. £30 for a 200ml size. Do I think that's good value for money? I really do. I think if I was blindfolded here, what would I say this fragrance is worth? I'd probably say around £40 to £60, because I think of some of those fragrances I've had that have been those high quality chocolates. So the ones I've smelled, Chocolate Greedy by Montero, it's got a similar sort of dark cocoa vibe to that one. And, you know, you're talking £50, £60 for that one. I think of some other sweet chocolate scents that I like. Rugler, it's got that chocolatey vibe to it. You know, you're talking £40, £60 again for that one. So you're talking a lot cheaper here. You're talking half the price in most cases for this scent. And what I really like with this one is whereas Lush tend to do, obviously sweet gourmand fragrances anyway, and that's no different here. But it's on the much darker fruit side. You know, normally it's quite almost sickly, syrupy sweet. Whereas this one with, I think there must be a little bit of plum in this one as well. I think people have said they've detected a bit of plum. But also that sort of black cherry. It's very much that dark fruits and, you know, nice dark melted chocolate. And it just makes that really nice combination without ever feeling like it's going to be as cloying as some of those other ones that Lush have in their collection. You know, it's certainly not as sweet as like a Sticky Dates, for example. It's a much darker gourmand, a darker dessert. And it's something they didn't really have in their collection. It's much more sour. And I really appreciate that one. I think other people will. You know, because it offers a little bit of a change up from what they also have in their collection. So for £30 for that, I don't think you can go wrong. It's high quality again. It feels well blended. I think that's more because chocolate and cherry goes well together. Because again, Lush only do 3 or 4 notes. They never feel that well blended at times. But this one, it doesn't feel like any, you know, the cocoa or the cherry are really overpowering each other. They're both just there in equal measure. And that makes it, for me, a really, really good scent. And for £30, you can't go wrong with that one. So I'm going to give it... I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. The only reason I'm marking it down a tiny bit is, do I think it's as good as some of their other ones for £30? Like your sticky dates? I still don't. And I would say, if you're not someone who is a massive fan of chocolate, the chocolate here is quite aggressive. And I don't know if there's a bit of cinnamon in this as well, but it could be a little bit aggressive to people's nostrils. So I'm just going to mark down that 0.5 for that reason, but I'm being super, super picky there. It's very good, and it's definitely worth that value for money. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10. On to versatility. Apologies if my nose keeps dripping as well. It's horrible being ill, isn't it? But versatility, how much can you dress this one up, dress this one down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things. Well look, it's a gourmand fragrance that has notes like cherry, obviously like chocolate. They're in men's and women's fragrances in equal measure. I think this is bang on, straight down the middle unisex, because it's not sickly sweet almost to the point you think, or it's really feminine, really girly, really juvenile. But it's also not got those aggressive, like peppery notes, smoky notes, leather accords, anything a bit darker, less sweet that you might think are more masculine. Straight down the middle for me. But it also has that quality where I think a younger person, again, it's not divisive because they're recognisable smells, but it's also got the quality in it that means an older person might think, actually, yeah, this doesn't smell as juvenile, it's not as sweet, and it doesn't smell synthetic to the point you almost smell like a teenager trying to, you know, an old man who's trying to go back to their teenage years. It's perfect. I think anyone, certainly late teens, up until their 40s, will really appreciate this. I always say, older gentlemen who's used to Aramis's and things like that, they're probably not going to be shopping at Lush anyway, but they're maybe the ones who wouldn't appreciate it quite as much. But I think even those sort of people, if they smell it on someone else, they definitely like it. Look, it's not a summer scent, it's obviously very dark, but cool spring days like today, obviously full winter time, that's when it's going to be best. And sort of more cosy wear, I'd say, if you wore it at home or outside, if you're going for a walk or something with family, that's when it's going to work best. I personally don't like chocolate as a dress-up type note. It's much more, for me, less serious. You don't normally think of chocolate or cherry or fruity things with suit and tie, but again, that doesn't really fit in line with what Lush want anyway. They don't really want those dress-up type scents. They want those more casual, alluring, sweet type scents, and that's what this fits. It fits exactly the bill of what Lush is meant to be. So overall, I think this is great. I wouldn't necessarily wear it for an interview or anything like that, but I think you could wear this to the office. You're going to be mass pleasing. People are going to want to come in the room and go, oh yeah, that smells really good. So it has got that alluring thing for even situations like a date night. So for that reason, I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think it does everything it says on the tin, and because it's not quite sickly sweet as some of their other ones in their line, I think that gives it that little bit of extra versatility and makes it a little bit more unisex than maybe they normally are. So 8.5 out of 10. When we get back, which I don't think will be quite as long today because my chest feels very tight, we will talk about projection and how much I'm noticing it during my run. So workout done. I certainly feel better for the run anyway, even if I still sound a little bit groggy. Starting to spray my room. So if you haven't seen this before, we're going to test for projection now. So I'm going to do 5 sprays. And essentially on what I'm seeing is how much this fragrance fills up a room. So if a colleague came in, if you're in an office, or if you're at home, does a family member walk in, a friend, and go, oh, it smells really nice here. Do they detect the fragrance? What I'm going to do though in the meantime, I'm going to go downstairs, have a cup of green tea, and yeah, just talk about how much I noticed the fragrance during my run. Did I notice Cherryish at all while I was out running? Because if I've got a blocked nose, that would have been quite impressive, wouldn't it? Time to find out. So, projection during my run. How much did I actually notice Cherryish by Lush during my workout? Quite a lot. Quite a lot. I have to say, I probably noticed it. Spilling my tea now. I filled this right to the top. I do love a green tea. Anyway, stop getting distracted, Harry. Cherryish, yes. I noticed it when I went to the toilet, which was about 45 minutes in. I noticed it a couple of times beforehand, which I expected early on. It's quite a strong fragrance in the opening. Again, it's a big atomizer, typical with Lush fragrances. They do spray a big mist. But nearer the end, I still noticed this fragrance. I didn't notice it right at the end, I'll be honest, the last 10-15 minutes. But again, I'm so sort of clogged up with mucus and everything, chesty cough. I wasn't really necessarily noticing it as much because I was a little bit distracted by that. But overall, I probably noticed it 6-7 times during my workout. More than enough. Very good, above average, I would say, in terms of projection. Do I think this is going to fill a room, though? I'm not sure. And the only reason I say that is normally I think those creamier vanilla caramel type scents are a little bit more sticky. This one isn't. It's got a dark chocolate, it's got dark fruit. That might work in its favour, but it's not that sweetness that you normally expect with Lush. It's a lot darker, slightly more bitter maybe than normal because it is a dark cocoa. So I'm really looking forward to find out here. Really don't know what to expect. All I would say is the rum was very impressive, so maybe this will fill a room more than I thought. But yeah, really torn on this. Interested to find out. So I'll finish my cup of tea, we'll head upstairs and we'll give a score on projection. Okay, up we go then. So, I'm wondering if I can already smell it, while I'm coming up the stairs. Yes, I can. Wow. Yes, I definitely can. That's not so much the chocolate I'm detecting. It's the cherry. The cherry in this is very strong. And all I would say is, obviously, I think of Rhubarb Éclat by Hermes. Sometimes those sort of, I don't want to say like traditional sort of fruity scents, but the fruity scents definitely have more of a punch. Those sweeter fruity scents, let's say, not like a sharp citrus or anything like that. They project really strong in the opening, but this one I feel like it's going to do well in longevity because of the chocolate in combination. But in terms of projection, it's that cherry that's really filling the room. Very pleasant, very nice. I've got to give this a 10 out of 10. I'm very surprised. Lush don't normally do that well on this round. But actually, no, I lie, they do. But longevity, they normally fall down. I'll be interested to see how that gets on later on. But that's filled up a room. If you spray 4 or 5 of this, people are going to notice you within the first 2, probably 3 hours, to be honest. You'll probably almost forget you've got it on, but other people certainly won't. You'll certainly fill up a room, whether someone's sitting next to you, even if you're just going by and passing. This is strong. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put you down. We're going to do longevity next. So 10 out of 10 for projection. Wow, I am impressed with this one. Is really good. Really good. But if you haven't seen this before, I'm going to spray my arms 3 times on each side. 3 hours time when I leave the gym, it'd be about 20 past 12. We'll just essentially see how much we can still notice that scent. So again, have a shower with it wear off. There's not a lot of notes in this, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one does. Also, before that, we need to talk about compliment factors. So when I walk to the gym, we'll talk about, do I think this fragrance can get you compliments? And as my brother had any experiences, he told me of any experiences of compliments. Of course, if we do get any at the gym today, you never know. You never know with this one. A lot of people talk to me at the gym now. It's starting to look like a familiar face there. We bump it up to a 10. Moving on then to compliment factor for Cherryish. Do I think it is a compliment getting fragrance? Well, something I've noticed since I've reapplied it, and obviously I'm now not running and getting distracted about how tired I am, it's actually that almond accord. It does bring that slight liqueur vibe, but I still reiterate what I said earlier. I don't think this is a dress-up type scent. I think the chocolate note in this is too powerful. Not like a Lost Cherry. That almond note is not prominent enough to make me feel like I'd want to wear it with a suit and tie. It still feels much more casual. But it's definitely still got that mass-pleasing effect. It is very mass-pleasing, this. That being said, where it is a bit darker, maybe a little bit less sweet, slightly more bitter, not sure I'd want to wear this one every day. I think by the end of the bottle I would have had enough. And I also think if you're wearing it in an office situation when it is like a cool day, while I think it'll get good feedback on the first couple of days, if you work with the same people every day and you're not mixing it up so much, I think they're going to find it quite heavy around you as well, because it is very heavy. And there's got to be some sort of cinnamon in this chocolate, because it's quite aggressive. It's almost got that hint of spice about it. So if you're someone who likes that, again, I say this, the cherry in this is very nice. It's a very nice dark sour cherry. It's not super sickly sweet synthetic. But I think over a number of days it would be too much. Every other day, every 3 or 4 days on a cool day, absolutely fine. If you just want something to cut through the cold when you're outside, absolutely fine. I think it's going to work really well in those situations. You'll get nice comments. Again, do I think it's a really sort of seductive one? In some ways, yes, I do. I think it's got that quality about it, because chocolate can be like that. And it is, but I don't think it's a wow factor. It's not got a lot about it. Again, there's not a huge amount of complexity in this. When I think of some winter scents that are really nice, they might have those boozy notes, a bit of rum in it, a bit of whiskey, caramel, vanilla. It's not quite like that, but it's still going to gather very good attention. I don't think it's going to be too divisive, but I just think over a period of time, people could get a bit sick of it. But for that one day when you want to make a good impression, it's going to do that. So compliment factor, I think, is absolutely fine. Again, it's limited in maybe certain situations. It's saying it's not a dress up, it's certainly not a gym one or anything like that either. So I'm gonna say, let's go 7.5 out of 10. It will definitely get good attention. It's just maybe a little bit limited in situations, and maybe when you want it for those statement occasions, it's not the one you're going to reach for, because I think chocolate definitely is a little bit more of a cozy, casual type note. But as I said earlier, any at the gym today, we'll give it a 10. So workout done, no compliments. To be honest, can't really smell the fragrance in it, but my nose is super bunged up. So hopefully after I've had a shower, I'll be able to detect it a little bit more. But yeah, let's have a quick shower, then we can give a score on projection afterwards. Okay, so it's just gone about 10 past 12. It's time to smell marks and see if I can detect any of this fragrance since I've had a shower. It is there, and I did smell it a tiny bit just as I was in the shower, but I'll be honest with you, and it's not just because I'm a little bit bunged up, it's not as strong as I was expecting to be. It's probably about 20%. Now, it is a warmer day today, now the sun's come out, but yeah, I would have expected a bit more. And again, I go back to it, I don't think it's due to the lack of quality from Lush. I think Lush definitely use high quality oils. I just think it's the lack of complexity. There's not a huge amount, again, in terms of notes in this. And while it's a little bit darker, I thought it would do a bit better. It's still quite simplistic, and I think that's great for them. It just always surprises me because the projection on these is really strong. And I do find if you spray it on clothing, you do get relatively good longevity on these, particularly ones like Rose Jam. But when it's on your skin, it doesn't seem to last as well. Maybe that's more something with my skin chemistry, something that'd be quite interesting to compare it with someone else. But yeah, I would have expected a little bit more from Cherryish here in terms of its longevity. Again, on a cold day when it's more suited to those things, and of course you're not normally going to be having a shower halfway through the day if you're at work or anything like that. It'll be absolutely fine. So for that reason, I still don't think it's terrible. I think it's probably just slightly below par. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Nothing wrong with it. I think for most people, I think this thing could be one of those though, because the chocolate's quite heavy and it's quite dark. I don't think you'd want it to be really strong either, like 80-90%, because I think you really would get sick of it. Touching on what I said earlier with compliment factor, you wouldn't necessarily want to wear this one every day, but if it wears off after a few hours like this, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you could wear it a little bit more often than I was giving it credit for when I was talking about compliment factor. But what we'll do, we'll head back now, I'll count up all the scores and I'll give my overall thoughts. We are back. We are finally back. What a workout it's been today. I may have felt bad, but I think I've smelt pretty good because I've been wearing Cherryish. And how did it get on based on the 5 rounds I did today? So like our price/fave for money, versatility, projection, compliment factor, and longevity. Well, it's done pretty well. In fact, it's done really well. It's got 42 out of 50. 42 out of 50. Can't go wrong with that, can you really? I mean, that is a super score. That's one of my highest scores. And I wasn't sure. When I first heard of this fragrance a little while ago now, I didn't think it could do anything. I feel like Lush have just released so many body sprays that another one that's a bit fruity, a bit gourmand, I thought, how are they going to make it different? They really have. They've really gone into this darker fruit, that slight boozy accord or liqueur accord from the almond. But obviously the chocolate here is really prominent. It's really dark and it's a great scent. The only thing it's really not done so well on today is its longevity. And actually, when you look at the ingredient list on the back, this is quite small. This is very small. I mean, if I get pumpkin spice, it's slightly bigger. I don't know if you can tell, but there are more ingredients in that one. But Lush in general, they do lack a bit of depth and complexity about them, which I'm not saying, to me, that isn't a fault of it. I think it's great that they do more natural fragrances. Again, a lot of old school scents I've spoken about before. have almost too many notes at times. I mean, I did a clone of a phrase called Pistachio Gelato, which I've got here right in front of me, the Essence Vault 467, and I was really excited about it. I remember thinking, oh, it's got boozy rum notes, it's got all these things going on that I really like, sweet vanillic notes. It just sounded like the perfect fragrance, ice cream, whatever. But actually, it needed just to be one thing. It needed to be the selling point. You know, you just needed it to be the rum that was prominent or the ice cream that was prominent and other notes in the background just to support it and give it that extra elevation. But this is what this does. This is what Lush do really well. Cherryish is the name, but the cherry is super prominent here, but it's complemented by a couple of other little notes that give it that extra edge, that make it more unique than some of the other Lushes, or makes it stand out, makes it different from the other gourmands that Lush have in their collection as well. So that's why I like it. It's a really good scent. It's easy to pull off. It's completely unisex. And yeah, I just hope it comes back out. As I said, at the moment, it looks like it's not really around on the market at the minute, but it doesn't say anything about it being limited edition. Don't drop it. But also, this new sort of labelling around the side shows it's a newer release. They didn't used to have like this sort of border around the bottle, so I'm sure it'll still come out. I definitely recommend trying it if you like gourmands, I said, with a little bit more darkness. Certainly if you like chocolate and cherry, that sort of combination together, it's brilliant. It's delicious. It smells exactly like Lush DNA. And yeah, I think if you're someone who likes these body sprays, get 20 in collection. You're going to be very, very happy with it. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this one today. Feeling a little bit better now. Just had a coffee, actually. So what I'm going to quickly do is before my brother gets back from work, I think he finishes in about an hour's time, going to go on the home treadmill. He's got a load of Lush shower gels. So hopefully soon you'll see me reviewing some of them and just give you a rough idea of what they smell like and if I recommend buying any. So yeah, thanks for watching today anyway. Apologies I haven't been kind of at my best. I hope I feel a bit better soon and I'll hopefully give a little bit more energy. Not that I'm always that energetic really, am I? But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.